Welcome back. My name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. My channel focuses on anxiety and depression and my day-to-day struggles with it. How I get through it, the things that help me, the things that don't help me. That's what my channel is all about. I posted a video last week as I was coming down off of an anxiety attack. And I have had a few comments back on it. Some of the comments was, how are you still able to drive when you're having an anxiety attack? In some cases you can't. You just have to pull over. And if that's the case, if you're feeling anxious or lightheaded or dizzy or something like that, pull over. Try to calm yourself down. Try to distinguish the situation. If you cannot, call for help. In my case, I knew what my breaking point was, and I knew that I could still drive. I was not having issues in the sense of not being able to focus on the road, or my vision was still fine. I wasn't having difficulty breathing, anything like that. So I hadn't got to the panic issue. So I was very close to that situation, and that's the reason I turned around when I did. Had I pushed myself even another 5 minutes, then I would have been at a state where I could not drive. I would have had to have somebody else take me home or stay where I was for the evening. So know your boundaries. Know when you are at your limit. Don't hesitate to stop. When you are at your limit, stop. Don't push yourself any further. Don't think, oh, well, I'm having this issue, but I think I'm okay to drive, or I think. No, if you have any doubt whatsoever, pull over. Take a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, and try to calm yourself down. Like I said, if that does not help, call for help. There are plenty of people that can come and help you out. Now, mine, because I turned around, mine did come back down rather quickly because I knew I was headed back to my safe space, which was my home. So I knew I wasn't going further and further and further away from my safe space. I was coming closer to it. So because I've dealt with anxiety from the time I was 18 or 19 years old, and I'm almost 50 now, so for several years, I know kind of where my safe zones are. If you are new to anxiety, if these are all new feelings for you, definitely get them all checked out until you learn your situations, till you learn what brings them on, what helps them go away, what your feelings are, and what you need to do. And until you get to that point, don't push it, don't question it, just get help. Because they're going to, each time you ask for help, especially if it's medical help, then they are going to be able to reassure you if the situation is indeed just anxiety. And if it is, then after you have calmed down, then you can think back to that day and what led up to that and what you were feeling, and that will help you kind of get a guidepost as to what some of the issues were. Very early on, when I was just starting to realize that mine was anxiety, I'd go to the hospital at least once a month, because I didn't know what they were. I didn't know whether, I was having other issues or not. And a couple of times I have had other issues. Nothing life threatening, but little things that, like, my body was telling me that I needed to take notice. So once I've learned what those symptoms were for those issues, then I could be like, okay, well, if I get this feeling, do I also have this feeling? And if I do, then I know, okay, even though this feeling is also related to anxiety, when I have anxiety, I don't have this feeling. So I was learning when my body was telling me something other than anxiety. So you just have to listen to your body. Anxiety can come on in so many different ways, so many different symptoms. The symptoms can be very close, if not exact, to other issues and illnesses. So you just have to really listen to your body. It basically comes down to, when in doubt, get it checked out. My anxiety, when it hits, if I push it to the limit like I did the last video, then I have lasting effects for a few days. Mostly body aches from when my body tenses up from anxiety. My body will be kind of achy for the next couple of days. And also, I go through a period of time where I beat myself up, more or less, of, I let anxiety win again, and why can't I do this, and I'm worthless, and I'll never get through this. I do go through that period. During that period is when I really have to stop and think and say, you know what, I'm normal. I'm fine. I'm not the only one that has this. And this does not make me a bad person. It does not make me worthless. It makes me human. We're all anxious about something. And it's how you learn to handle them. Now, I talk to my therapist on a regular basis, and I actually spoke with her this morning, and she gave me some tips on how to maybe try to work through anxiety as it's building up. Although the anxiety is not going to go away, it can keep it at a straight line level, and it won't get to the panic issue. And you can kind of learn to calm things a little bit. She had mentioned kind of distracting my thoughts, because anxiety is fear-based. And if you can distract the fear, because it may be something small that caused the anxiety, but the more you fear the anxiety, it's the fear that's causing the panic attack or anxiety issue to be worse. So she had said, you can go through your mind with a list of things that you need to do for the day, or a list of games that you like to play, or if you're going to a store, keep running the grocery list through your head. Maybe it's your schedule you keep running through your head. If you like numbers, do your multiplication in your head. Just something to kind of distract the here and now. If you're focusing on what you're thinking about, as far as your list or your numbers or your games, then you're not thinking about being anxious and being afraid. Now, like I said, your anxiety is not going to go away. It will just calm down a little bit, and maybe you'll be able to get through your situation to the fullest degree of the situation, such as me being able to go to my friend's house. I would have been able to get there, get out of the car, enjoy the visit, get back in my car and go home. But I was not able to get to that point. Now, I have been to that person's house a couple of times, never had any issue. So just because you've done something once doesn't mean you'll never have anxiety around that situation again. You just have to kind of learn to distract yourself during the situation. So I am going to use those techniques that she mentioned today. I am going to kind of go over a list in my head. She said even if you have to write a list down in the car, to only look at when you are having that issue, or to think about, if you're in a car and you're driving and you start getting anxious, then pull over, look at your list, run that list through your head a couple times, and then continue to drive. Because that list will be in your head, you'll just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. Repeat it out loud if you need to. But obviously, once that list is in your head and you repeat it over and over and over, then you're not really going to be able to think about what it was that triggered it in the first place, if you even know what it was. So I will definitely be trying to implement that on my next anxious adventure. And I say my next because I know there'll be many more. I would like for that to not be the case, but that is the case. And the issues when I have anxiety at home, those issues is more on a personal level, but one of the things that I have realized makes me anxious is clutter. So over the next few videos, I will be decluttering, trying to get rid of some things. I will probably talk to you at the beginning of the videos and maybe a little bit at the end, but I won't be talking through the video as I'm going through, partly because I don't want to do edits. I don't want to do voiceovers. I don't want to do, what you see is what you get. There's not any, I'm going to make this look like a 10-minute video out of a 1-hour video into a 10-minute video. That's not realistic. If I make a 15-minute video, it's what I got done in 15 minutes. Now, does that mean it's going to take longer? Probably. But what I have on video is not all I'm doing. There's a lot of behind the scenes, I work on things on a daily basis. You can't just do, whether you do videos, whether you do people come over or whatever, what you do in front of people is what you need to do behind people, because that's who you are. If you have to be somebody else to be in front of people, then you don't need to be around them people, because that also will create anxiety. Just be who you are. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Don't try to fit in where you're not comfortable. Because the truth of the matter is, regardless of whether you have anxiety, as I do, to the degree that I do, you're never going to fit in with that crowd. And the more you try, the more frustrated you're going to get, the more you're going to lose yourself, the more you're not going to like your life or be comfortable in your life. Do I wish I had more friends? Yes. Do I wish I had more money? Yes. Do I wish, that I got my hair done all the time, or my nails done all the time, or I had fancy wardrobes and all this? Yeah, that would be nice, but that's not who I am. I would rather have 1 or 2 friends that truly know who I am, I can be myself with, the type of friend that when I need a shoulder to cry on, I can. Or I can just sit and laugh with, to the point that I laugh so hard the whatever I'm drinking comes out my nose. It is what it is. If I want to show up in sweatpants, I'll show up in sweatpants and not feel bad. because I don't want to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm straightforward, and if you ask me a question and I don't feel that it's too personal, I'll tell you. I don't care. In that degree, I'm pretty much an open book. Now, there are some things I don't talk about. And that's just, there's personal things you shouldn't talk about. And those are things that if someone gets upset because you don't discuss it, there again, they don't need to be in your life. Because they have to respect your boundaries too. So when it comes to anxiety, just do the best that you can. Don't beat yourself up when you have anxiety. Don't, if you aren't able to do something and you really wanted to get it done, either ask for help or just accept the situation. Because there's always another try. And you're doing the best you can. Just move on from the situation, calm yourself down, try the techniques. And if you're in that situation again, just say, hey, I've tried this once, let's try this again. You may try it 100 times before you get to do it. You may do it twice, never be able to do it again. It just depends on the state of mind that you're in, I guess. I don't understand all that. I'm not a doctor, but just try some of those techniques that I had mentioned on here today and see if any of them help you. I know I'm going to try, and if I have to implement any of them, I will definitely share my experience with that. And for anyone out there that has any questions for me, any comments for me, if you leave them in the comment section, if I have enough questions, maybe I'll do a Q&A video, but I will respond to as many of the questions or comments that I can individually. If there is a large amount, then like I said, I will do a video. So I'm hoping that the next video is a decluttering video, but we'll see how things go. Until next time, take it easy. Know that you're not alone. And I'll see you then.